wasn't interested in going back overseas. When we left Tanzania in 2012, I thought, okay, my calling to missions has been fulfilled. It's been satisfied. Now, Lord, what do you have for us? And there were some difficulties especially in our last year in Tanzania that helped us to feel closure from that time. And I wasn't really interested because the difficulties were the most recent memories, I wasn't all that interested in getting back into the difficulties of cross-cultural ministry. And so when this opportunity to serve as regional coordinators was proposed to us, my first reaction, much like my first reaction in Haiti, when I said no to the Lord that I didn't want to be a missionary, my initial reaction was, no, I'm not interested in going back overseas. But it was a process of probably 3 months, I would say, that we earnestly prayed about what God was leading us to. We had a lot to give up. We had just bought our first house in Florida and we were really settled. I was really finding a place for myself to serve and felt really fulfilled in the ministry that we were serving in Florida. And our daughter was thriving and had friends, lots of great friends and lots of really special believers that were pouring into her life. And so it felt like there was a lot to give up and I wasn't sure that I was ready to give those things up. But as we prayed and as we sought wise counsel, it just became clearer and clearer that this is what God was leading us to. And just like every other time that He's called us to step out in faith, He has provided in incredible ways with friendships and with support and so much more even than what we give up. He supplies it in abundance.
My experience was a little different. When we were first asked to consider the role of regional coordinator, although it was a bit of a daunting assignment to consider, the idea of living overseas again, the idea of returning to Africa, that adventurous spirit that I've kind of had since early experiences in missions through my childhood was kind of brought back awakened in me, and so the desire to serve again cross-culturally and the idea of living cross-culturally again was a strong pull for me. But I didn't want to pursue our role as regional coordinators in the absence of an agreement that we could experience together. And I wanted to make sure that it was truly something that was God ordained, something that was truly a response and of obedience to what God was calling us to do. And so I wanted to be very patient with that process and make sure that we prayed through it very diligently and that we didn't rush into agreeing just because I was excited about living overseas again. And so we prayed for about 3 months, and through that time, God just continued to open doors, and God continued to reveal to us that it was a good fit for us for this time, for this season in our life. And it has been. It's been a good journey for us. And around January of 2015, we just really felt confirmed that God was indeed leading us to accept the responsibility of being the regional coordinators for Africa. And so we started in February of that year. And it has been an adventure, and we continue to grow and continue to learn about what it means to be regional coordinators. And it's a great challenge, but we're really feeling fulfilled and feeling that it has been a step of obedience and a step of faith for us.
When we were first offered the position of regional coordinators or asked to consider it, my initial response was, no, and Mike's initial response was, ooh, yeah.
Yes.
And but we were both committed to each other and committed that we didn't want to take any steps until we were both confident of what obedience looked like. For me, I wanted obedience to look like staying in Florida and staying where we were, and Mike wanted obedience to look like taking the regional coordinator position. And so we committed to each other that we weren't going to take any steps until we both were confident about what obedience looked like, and we were confident that the Lord would lead us to a point where we were both very sure of what that step of obedience would look like, and we're so glad that we did.
Yeah.